Hello everyone, I hope you're all fine. Today I'm going to show you how I created this little car loop animation. And just so you know, I'm using this animation on my brand new channel, Pixel Beats. Pixel Beats is all about chill, lo-fi and hip-hop beats made for creators, artists, coders and dreamers, people like us. The idea is simple, create a relaxing vibes so you can focus, flow and create your best work. If you enjoy this kind of content, your support means the world to me. The link of this channel will be in the description. Okay, so let's dive in. In Blender, we delete everything we don't need, so the cube and the light. And we import a car. I will use my Ranger Extreme Baya. If you're interested, the link will be in the description. But if you need a free car to follow along, you can use my C63 AMG. The link will be in the description as well. To import the car, you go on File, Append, you double click on the blend file, Object, you select everything by pressing A on your keyboard and you click on Append. For this animation, I will use a launch control to animate the car, but if you want, you can use the Rig a Car add-on as well. It's just that you will have to do the bump animations manually. If you need a full tutorial for that, you can check this video. I will delete this rig because I don't need it. And all the items starting with WGT as well. To keep things organized, I will put the car objects in a new collection. So right click, new collection, and let's name it car. Select every parts of the car, right click, select hierarchy and M, and here car. So everything is in the car collection now. And to rig this car with launch control is very easy. You press N on your keyboard, you go on launch control, and then local, you select the collection where you have your car, and rig vehicle. And that's it. We have the rig installed on the car. In the configuration of launch control, here you can see that there is an inclination for the wheels and I don't want that. So you click on this and you go in pause mode, control tab, and here I think it's the camber amount, so G, yes, that's it. Okay, now our car is ready. Let me check. Yes. Now you can go back in object mode. I want my car to follow a straight line, so let's change the animation. So you click here, and straight number 1 is good. Animate vehicle, and that's it. And because we loaded a new animation, we have to fix the end frame again, so 300. And if I press spacebar, I have this. Okay, that's cool, but the car is stopping a little bit too early. So we need to change the path. So here you click on this path and you go in edit mode by pressing tab on your keyboard. You select this last point and we're going to extrude this point. So E and Y to extrude it on the Y axis, something like that. And just to be sure, let's go back in object mode. I select this. This is not the final ground, but just to fix the animation now. So E and Y, I'm going to extrude this one as well. Okay, now we have a new path. And because we have made some modification on the path, we need to update the driving path here. So let's do that. And normally the animation won't change because we only change the path, not the animation itself. Actually, let me select the path again and I will make it way longer so we are sure to have enough room. Okay, something like that. Update driving path. Okay, now as I told you, we changed the path but not the animation itself. So let's do that now. You select the rig, you go in pause mode and you click on this wheel. This is what controls the animation of the car on the path. And we have actually 3 keyframes. We don't need this one because I want a linear animation. And I want the animation to go until frame 300. So I will move that keyframe to 300 here. And now if I press spacebar, I have this animation. And let's display the speed. Here you click on this button, speedometer. And now I think that my car is way too slow. It's because we asked the car to travel the same distance but for a longer time. So it's normal that's going slower. So what we need to do is to change the distance. So with the wheel selected, you go on frame 300, you raise this value. You can notice that the car is moving forward, and this is exactly what we want. So let's try 600 degrees and I again. Now let's check the speed. Okay, now the speed is 36 km per hour. I would like my car to go a little bit faster, so I will try 650 and I to update the keyframe. So now we have a speed, yeah, I like the speed, 39, around 39. And actually there is one thing I want to fix. Because I'm doing a loop, I don't really want the car to do like it's doing now. What I mean is, if you check the speed, it's accelerating, and then at the end, it will decelerate. And we don't want that. We want a constant speed. So here, on the timeline, I will press A to select all the keyframes, right-click, interpolation mode, and linear. Now, if we check the animation, the speed is the same, so it's not fast enough again. So let's change that. So at frame 300, I will change the rotation to 700 degrees. Okay, and press I, and now, okay, now it's good, 39, perfect. For the road, I will use an asset from my city pack. The link will be in the description. This pack is for Blender users with low-end computers and users who want light assets for their animations and still compositions. The objects are realistic enough for beautiful animations and at the same time very, very light for your computer to render and to manipulate in the viewport. But of course, I will also make this road available for free so you can follow along because that's the spirit. So here I select the street decoration 014 and I drop it on my scene. I press N, click on item and rotate it on 90 degrees. With the road selected, you go in edit mode and here right click, subdivide. You click on this little window and you select 50 here for the number of cuts. And we do that because we want to create some bumps on the road. And in order to do that, we need some definitions to sculpt the road later. Okay, perfect. Now we can go back in object mode. And to duplicate this road, we'll use an array modifier. So you click here on modifiers, add modifier, and you search for array. And it's not going on the right direction. So it's not 1 on X, but -Y. Okay, this direction, and for the count, you can use 20. That's more than enough. Now we can apply everything. So you click on this little arrow and apply. And to replace this ground with our road, you simply move the road, so the street decoration 14, in the ground detection collection, just like that. Let's move the road where we want it to be. So somewhere around here. Okay, maybe it's a little bit too high, so here 0 to be on the ground. Perfect. And we can get rid of this plane, we don't need it anymore, so you select it and delete. And for the road, yes, just like that, you want the tires to go through the road a little bit. So on this side, we have the feeling that it's flattening the tires. Let's check everything. Yes, that's perfect. Our car is driving on the road. Now we can create our bumps. For the bumps, you click on the road and here you go in sculpt mode. You need to have the brush selected with the draw option. And here, 50 is a little bit too big, so I will go for 30. And the idea is to create some bumps on the road, so the final animation is more pleasant to the eye. It's not boring, you know. So we need to have maybe something like that here. And if you want, you can do that. The more bumps you will have and the more car animation you will have on those bumps. And just one thing, when you finish to draw the bumps, you can go back in object mode and right click and shade smooth. Okay, now you can go back in sculpt mode if you want. So the idea is now, if we check the animation, thanks to launch control, we can see that the car is reacting to those bumps. That's perfect. Once again, you decide how many bumps you want and their sizes. Just avoid creating bumps at the beginning and at the end of the animation, because it will make the loop creation way harder or impossible. Now, let's use the magic of launch control. and enable the physics for a smooth car animation. But before that, I think it would be better to create our camera animation so we can better appreciate the movements of our car. The Ride is my Blender car animation course created for beginners and intermediate users who want to get into car animation. Now you get 85 videos and 13 hours of training. And of course, everything is included. The cars, the assets, the add-ons, everything you need to follow along. You will also get my personal help on a private channel on Discord in case you're stuck or you need advice. For the camera first frame, let me show you my values. I press 0 on the numpad to go in camera view and I select my camera. So here are my values and here is the framing I decided to go for. For the loop, you don't want to see much in front of the car and behind the car. So somewhere like here or on the side is perfect. And once again, this is for the first frame. You can add a keyframe here by pressing I on your keyboard where when you have something like that. And for the last frame, here at 300, you see there is no movements of the camera. It's because for the last frame, you want exactly the same position, rotation and stuff for your camera. Only the Y position should change. So here you can see that it's exactly the same. Only the Y position is changing. And you want the last frame to be exactly at the same position from your car. It's very important that because we decided to go for a linear animation for the car, that we do the same for the camera animation. So you select the camera, you go on the timeline, you press A on your keyboard, right click, and interpolation mode, you select linear as well. So the camera will have the same position always during the entire animation. And thanks to this view, we can see that our car is correctly reacting to the bumps. It's not a pretty animation yet, but already we can see that the car is reacting to the bumps. And before we animate correctly the car with the launch control add-on, let's create our focus point. So I already created mine, but just to quickly show you how you do that. For the focus point, Shift A and empty plane axis. So that will be our focus. And you press 7 to place it. And let's say you want to place it, let me hide my focus point for now. You want to place it around here on your car. Okay, this is the point you want to focus. If you want, you can focus here as well. It's really up to you, okay? And we want our focus point to move with the car. So you select the focus point first and then Shift. You click on your car, Control P, and object keep transform. So the focus point will follow the car. And now you should have something like me. Let me activate my focus point again. So if I move my car now, you can see that the focus point is moving with the car. And with the camera here, for the camera setting, let me go there. Of course, you activate the depth of field. I have a focal length of 50 and the pass part out to 1 because I like everything to be black around. And for the aperture, I went for 0.5, blades 5. And of course, the depth of field, the focus point is the focus, the plane axis we have created. You might have to rename this focus if you want, just to keep things organized. Okay, perfect. Now we can deal with the animation and it's pretty simple with the launch control add-on, and this is why I decided to use the launch control add-on. So if we actually check the animation, let me go in camera view. Okay, so if we check the animation, you can see that my car is reacting correctly, but it's not really pretty. The suspensions animation are not there yet. So we can do that with launch control very easily. You go in launch control and here you just click enable physics. That's it. I decided to use the default physics road car. I didn't change anything, so everything is by default. And now if we check the animation, now we have some real suspension animations, really cool. Okay, and I love that. This is something we had to do manually with the Rigo car add-on. We can do that with the Rigo car add-on, and it's time consuming. With the launch control add-on, you just click one button and you have all the physics animation. When we are happy with the physics, we can click here, bake physics, confirm bake, and that's it. Now it's baked. And you can see here at the start there is this weird animation, but don't worry, because we will start our render at frame 40 where we don't have this weird artifact. So we'll deal with that later. So perfect, we have the camera animation, we have the car animation in one click thanks to launch control. Now we can start to create our environment. First, let's start with the sidewalks. Once again, I will use an asset from my city pack. So let me drag this window here, and I will do the same here. 0 to go in camera view. So now we have this constant camera view. I will hide the tools with T. And here I will go on the asset browser and my city pack, city props. And for the sidewalks, I will use this one, Street Deco 005. The rotation is the same. Let me check. Yes. So 90 degrees. And I will move it around here for now. And we will do like we did for the road, an array modifier. So here, modifier, search array. And this is -1. And I think we did 20 for the road. Yeah, maybe it's too much, 15. Let's go for 16. Yep. And here I will just place this guy next to the road, something like that. And we do the same on the other side. First, let's create a new collection for that. Right click, new collection. I call it sidewalks. And I will move this guy inside and I will do the same. Alt D to duplicate. And here we need to rotate it on the other side. So 270 and place it where we need it. So somewhere around here. Okay, that's it for the sidewalks. For the buildings, I'm using Cargo from Kitbash 3D. I will put the link in the description. And for this specific animation, I did use the Cyber District kit, this one. If you don't have Cargo, that's all good. You have plenty of choices with my city pack or any free assets you will find online. I love to use Cargo because of the quality of the assets. I mean, most of the VFX industry use those kits, so I guess you can't be wrong. And to use Cargo, you just click on an asset, you click on download, and then you click on import, and the asset will be in your scene. So here is my final scene configuration. I just placed a bunch of different assets in line like this. And the key for the loop is whatever are the 4 or 5 buildings you have in your camera view. I mean, starting this one, let's go back in frame 40 because we will start our animation at frame 40. So here I will write 40. Okay, so from this building, 1, 2, 3, and 4 buildings, you need to repeat those buildings at the end of the animation. Let me show you what I mean. So here, those buildings, those 3, I know that I will have to repeat them here. So when you go in camera view, so this is the start, frame 40. Let me raise this so we can have a better view. We have this antenna here, but when I go in frame 300, I have exactly the same building positions, the same camera and everything. And this is what we need for our loop animation. Once again, I go on frame 40, I have those 3 buildings, and then at 300, I have the exact same buildings for the loop. And of course, you can do whatever you want between. So that's really the key for the loop. I did place those buildings manually. I'm not sure if there is a better way to do that, but it's working fine for me. Okay, now to improve your scene visually, you can place some assets in the foreground. For example, here, those trash, those cans, and here this. Okay, those are assets you can find once again on my city pack or online for free or in Cargo itself, but the rule is the same. You need to avoid placing those assets at the beginning and at the end of the animation. I mean, you can, but then you have to be very precise of the placement because you need to do exactly the same at the beginning and at the end. So in my case, I prefer to put nothing, so it's easier for me to deal with the loop. For the light, as usual, I'm using an HDRI, and I'm using the HDRI from the SyncSkies HDRI. I will put the link in the description. As I told you, in all my projects, I always use those HDRIs. They are easy to use, and it's very simple to implement in your scene. So once again, I will put the link of those HDRIs in the description, but you can use Polyhaven or whatever HDRI you want to use for the lighting. And here are my render settings. Of course, I'm using cycles. I'm using 512 max samples. You need to activate, of course, the motion blur. For the resolution, I use the cinematic ratio, so 1920 by 817. And here are the output for my renders. And that's pretty much it for the Blender section. Now let's jump in DaVinci Resolve. In DaVinci Resolve, you just import all the renders you have in your scene. So you will have something like that after you render everything. And for the loop, all you have to do is to press Alt on your keyboard to copy this block, this sequence. And here, you press N to activate this little magnet thing, and you connect those two. In my case, it was better to remove, because look at the loop. Let me show you that. See, there is this little bumps that we can feel, because I'm starting with the same images twice, but I think to be smooth, we need to remove one frame. So the car is one frame ahead. Yes, now it's perfect, you see? Now it's seamless. We don't see the jump between those two animations. Perfect. Now we can't see the difference between this sequence and this sequence. Now all you have to do is to repeat the process one time, and then you repeat everything if you want. That will be faster. And you can do like that an infinite loop for your music video or for whatever you need. And once again, for the final result, don't forget to check my new channel. The link will be in the description. That's a great way to support my work. Thanks for watching. I talk to you soon. Bye bye.